Always that is a so without any anxiety, if we have to work, we need to go on very smooth. And even if there is an anxiety, whereas there is a distress, we still have to be in that mode to understand this. Okay. So, yajante satvika devan aksharam chansi rajasaha pretan bhuta ganashchandye yajante tamasa janaha. Yes, Mataji, are you there? Saloni Mataji, you can start. I think Ishita Mataji also got kicked out.
Ma'am. Men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons, and those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits.
So we have moved on to the worship. From faith, we have moved on to the worship. Now, how do they do? So those who are in goodness, they do because for all small desires to be fulfilled, they go to the demigods. Krishna says, demigods are also created. They are all this different managers to get those desires to be fulfilled by these conditioned souls, so that, through those modes, they are coming nearer to the sea, nearer to Krishna. So then those in the mode of passion worship the demons, and those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. You would have seen, you would have heard, and you're also seeing these images. There are a lot of people who worship in that way. So, well, what is right, what is wrong will be subsequently told. But then those who are in goodness, automatically, you will find everything, anything and everything. They have that faith. There is a desire, and that desire needs to be fulfilled. So I go and do this. There are a lot of austerities, what they do. Okay. These images can be seen, which clearly makes you understand that those in the mode of passion worship demons. I don't know if you have heard, if you have seen, but this Bhuta Pretam and all. Okay. 5 and 6. Ashastra Vihitam Ghoram Tapyante Hetapo Janaha Damba Ahankara Samyukta Kamaraga Balanvitaha Karshayanta Sharirastham Bhuta Gramam Achetasaha Mam Chaivanta Sharirastham Tan Vidya Sura Nishchayan.
Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride, egotism, lust, and attachment, who are impelled by passion and who torture their bodily organs as well as the super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons.
You have seen this many places, and even in the Dhyana yoga, is this yoga, these the same images you have seen. What does it show? Never our scriptures have ever said that you can ever give so much of trouble and pain to your own body. That is not at all possible. That's not at all recommended. And it is done out of pride, egoism, lust, and attachment. The attachment to show off, that's, they are impelled by passion. So they are torturing their body. Never it has been, that's sort of a penance they will do. And they themselves will. So these are all themselves will be explaining that this is how one should do. But no, never our scriptures have said this. We can never, ever. Now goes on to from worship and faith and the way they were doing. Now we go on to the food. And I think the food is what is going to be very, very, we will see, oh my God, this is the food that I've been eating. Is this the one? So we need to check now. Ayuhu sattva bhala arogya sukha priti vivardhanaha rasyaha snigdhaha sthira hridya aharaha satvika priya. 8, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10. Okay, all of them I'll read and then you go. Katvam lavanat ushna tikshna ruksha vidahinah ahara rajasasyeshta dukkha shokama yaprada yatayamam gatarasam poti paryushitam chatyat uccishthamapi chamedhyam bhojanam tamasapriyam.
Foods in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such nourishing foods are sweet, juicy, fattening, and palatable. Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, pungent, dry, and hot are liked by people in the modes of passion. Such foods cause pain, distress, and disease. Food cooked more than 3 hours before being eaten, which is tasteless, stale, putrid, decomposed, and unclean, is food liked by people in the mode of ignorance.
So in Ahara Niyamam, in I don't know if you have all heard the one of the Vaishnava, Deshigar. So he has given that Ahara Niyamam separately, giving these in details. If you see, whatever we are eating, it is so dangerous, and how one gets that disease. Why that? If you get up in the morning, you are fresh enough, you are motivated enough, not feeling like, oh, let me sleep for 10 more minutes. That itself shows that you're healthy. So do listen to those Ahara Niyamam of Deshigar, and this put together, you will listen. When you listen to Dr. Hegde's speech, when you read the purports in detail, you will understand what food is good for me, what is it. So more than 3 hours, which means you just make it, have fresh, and keeping it in the fridge, eating it after 2 days, 3 days, and then all this fast food, how they make, what intentions are going while making, even while making, that bhajan, kirtan, sankirtan, morning when you start cooking, that thought process also is transferred in that food. Everything is into that. So that food which we eat as prasadam, after offering, you will understand. So I'm adding on all to this because this is what you all face every day. I'm so hungry, let me just take a cup of coffee from the restaurant, or from Starbucks, or from here and there, and then let me take that sandwich what has been made and frozen and kept for, I don't know, hours together. Or let me take something in the fast food restaurant, and just grab a Coke. So what is it, where are you heading to, is what we need to understand. So these are all the images. Satvika food, the food in, what is eaten in the mode of passion, what is eaten in the mode of goodness is very clearly indicated, and these are all you're all used to, it very well, and you know how it harms. And what is it, satvika food? These many varieties, we don't have to just make dal and roti, or dal and one lentil, one fresh vegetable, one rice, or roti. That is sufficient. Of course, Krishna has said, give me just offer some water and one leaf and one pushpa. You have read it in that phalam toyam yome iche, like with all love and kindness, if you just offer. But what we eat matters a lot. So one is like, you offer, but what you eat, this picture, this image itself shows, too much of hot, too much of spicy food, more of passion people will, and then that leads to that anxiety. It also leads to, you need more and more and more and more. Apalankakshibhryajño vididhishto ya ijyate yashtavyameveti mana samadhaya satvikaha.
Of
Yes, ma'am.
sacrifices, that sacrifice performed according to duty and to scriptural rules and with no exception of reward is of the nature of goodness.
So we move on to the sacrifices. the sacrifices that's being made, according to the scriptural rules, without any expectation of the reward, without any expectations. You keep doing the sacrifices, do all those yajna, tapasa, call the priest, or you do it yourself, but without any expectation, without any this thing. No, because it's given in the scriptures, so let me do it. That is the way it has been done. You're seeing this. Abhisandhayatu phalam dambhartamapi chaiva yat yijyate bharata sreshta tam yajñam vidhi rajasam.
But that sacrifice performed for some material end or benefit, or performed ostensibly, or what is that?
Ostentatiously.
Ostentatiously, out of
Yes.
pride, is of the nature of passion, O chief of the Bharatas.
Now, what is, okay, I'll give an example here. One Prabhu, because of this COVID thing, he wanted to help all the priests. And then, he made sure that whomsoever is teaching, he said, whatever you are able to donate, you donate. And he started doing this Swati Nakshatram, Narasimha, Sudarshana Homam. So that Homam is going on. But that homam is particularly done for giving all those priests something like, some sort of charity to them, so that, that's for the common well-being. So this is done the funds are collected and for the benefit of the community. Do you understand the difference? So it is not for dambam. Dambam is just to show the pride. Oh, I'm doing it. See, I'm doing this. So that is done in the mode of goodness. Now, when you do it for yourself with some desire, there is a desire there, but for the community well-being, for everybody to get some money for their food. So some 7 to 10 priests are kept, and then they do the homa every month, and the Swati Nakshatram, which is Lakshmi Narasimha's birth star, and they do that. When they are doing, there are two purposes. One is for the community well-being, because this was going on, the corona. And the second thing is that the priests get something as an earning, for their living. So such things are all in the mode of goodness, not for our own benefits. Okay. So I'm just giving an example what's going on here. And okay, so this is Bhasmasura's story. Later, if we have time, we'll say, Bhasmasura went on, like he asked Shiva for immortality. He said nobody can, and then he asked if I touch, people should. Then he wanted to try it on Shiva. Then Narayana had to come down to take Mohini Avatara. So if you remember that story, you can read it also. Vidihina mas. Okay, you read this.
And that sacrifice performed in defiance of scriptural injunctions, in which no spiritual food is distributed, no hymns are chanted, and no remunerations are made to the priest, and which is faithless, that sacrifice is of the nature of ignorance.
So, people still do a lot of things which without, even offering anything to the priest, those who are, and there is no chanting also, and there is no faith, but still they will do all that. See, hymns to be chanted, the prasadam has to be distributed, remuneration to the priest has to be given. So if these three things are not there, it is not performed under spiritual injunctions, then that is in the mode of ignorance. Deva Dvija Guru Pragya Pujanam Shauchamarjavam Brahmacharyam Mahimsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyate.
The austerity of the body consists in this worship of the Supreme Lord. The Brahmanas, the spiritual masters and superiors like the father and the mother. Cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence are also austerities of the body.
So now this is austerity. This is about, like we saw, faith, worship, and then the food. the sacrifices. Now we move on to the austerities. Now what is it? It is to your body. Giving austerities is like, worshipping your own parents, your own deities at home, keeping all that spiritual master. Cleanliness, not only from outside, like taking bath or all that, but then from inside, from within, being very simple. Okay, very simple. And celibacy, brahmacharyam. One has to follow whatever is prescribed as per the Vedic scriptures at the age wise. Oh, I can just move around, I can go around, I can be the way I want. I mean, there was one show where that youth was saying, like, use and throw is the today's philosophy. What is use and throw? Can you do it with your mother, with your sister? When those questions were asked, of course, they had to change their views and opinion. So you cannot use and throw anybody's heart, anyone, so it is all like that celibacy. That is where the celibacy comes. So what is to be there, at which age, prescribed age, grahastha ashrama means then. So that needs to be followed. That when that is done, that all that comes, in the mode of goodness. Okay. Anudvegakaram vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat swadhyaya abhyasanam chaiva vangmayam tapa uchyate.
Austerity of speech consists in speaking truthfully and beneficially and in avoiding speech that offends. One should also recite the Vedas regularly.
There are a lot of people who have left who wanted to know anyhow. So speaking truthfully and beneficially. So that truthfully also, when and how, where do I speak without offending anyone is very, very important. So before we speak anything, before we take out the words from our mouth, am I hurting myself? Am I hurting somebody? My words, will it be of any use or not? So those are the things which needs to be. And how does that purification comes? When you start chanting, when you recite, Vedas. See, such a beautiful, from millions and millions of years, we have all those proof in the scriptures. How did they know about everything? The rules and regulations, it was all given in Vedas. Today's this one, there is no evidence, there is no writing, there is no proof. But who gives the proof? We have the scriptures. So these scriptures are spoken by in coming, like, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahmacharita, Brahma Purana, Vayu Purana, all 18 Puranas. We have, those two, Mahabharatam and Srimad Ramayana. Everywhere it is spoken. So that Veda has all those rules and regulations that's been prescribed. And that came from Shruti and Smriti. Like only by hearing, it is passed on generation after generation, yuga after yuga. It is the same thing that's being followed. Okay. So the purity, mana prasada saumyatvam, maunamatma vinigraha, bhava samshruddhirityet, tat tapo manasamuchyate. Yes.
And serenity, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purity of thought are the austerities of the mind.
I don't know how many of you are able to, will be able to relate this image with. I'll give the hint. Veda Vyasa is son, Shukhamuni. So both of them are walking around when, in a pond, there are a lot of gopis, taking bath. Those girls are all taking bath. Now, the moment they see Veda Vyasa, they just cover themselves. And when, they see Shukhamuni, they are on their own. Yes, Prabhu? Ritesh Prabhu, you wanted to say something? Okay. So this itself is showing that, Veda Vyasa is asking, when my son goes and you all are just on your own, but when you see me, you are covering yourself. So that is the image which is shown here, which means that, so the girls say that this question also only you are asking. He doesn't even know. So Shukamuni was totally into every living entity. When he is calling Shuka, Shuka, even the plants and the trees and everything is answering yes, yes, yes. What does that mean? So he is with the Brahman stage, like he is with that. He says he is not into this material world. He is not got entangled. So it is all souls. It is all souls. So only super soul and individual souls. That's all. That is where he is. So that serenity, that simplicity, that self-control, and even in the thought, purity of thought, these are the austerities of the mind for the mode of goodness. Okay, so Shraddhaya paraya taptam त्रिविधं नरैः अपलाङ्काक्षिभिर्युक्तैः सात्विकं परिचक्षते.
This threefold austerity practiced by men whose aim is not to benefit themselves material, but to please the Supreme, is of the nature of goodness.
So you see, Prabhupada and all these parikrama, Vrindavan parikrama, Govardhan parikrama, or this Mayapur, those bhajan, sankirtan, or all those austerities where they just go for the benefit of the whole community, society, all those bhaktas, and that is to in the supreme is that please the supreme is of the nature of the goodness. Satkaramana pujartham tapodambhena chaiva yat kriyate tadiha proktam rajasam chala madhruvam.
Those ostentatious penances and austerities which are performed in order to gain respect, honor, and reverence are said to be in the mode of passion. They are neither stable nor permanent.
So this ostentatious penances is like, just to show off. A lot of them do this right now in Kali Yuga here, so much. They do it just to show off, to get the raw. Oh, he has been doing so much of yajna. That is just to get those respect and honor, and they will spend exorbitant amount on that. So that is all in the mode of passion because they have that desire, those desires to be fulfilled. They would have asked, okay, I will do this. It's all on the bargain. It's all on the it's like something to do with okay, business. It's a business mode. I will do this so that I get this. And because I got this, I'm doing this. So that is all in the dambha, so it is dambha means it's basically to show their pride and show their, somewhere the arrogance also comes into the part that I am doing it. Where you say I, me, mine, then that is mode of passion. Okay. Look at this penance also. Modagrahenatmano yat pidya kriyate tapah parasyotsadhanartham va tad tamas sapta mudahritam.
And those penances and austerities which are performed foolishly by means of obstinate self-torture or to destroy or injure others are said to be in the mode of ignorance.
Yes, it is either self-torture or to destroy and injure others. There are a lot of mantrik, tantric, and those penances to make sure that the other perish, whether I live or not. The others should be perished. The others. So there are a lot of tantric, mantrik, and those penances, very serious ones, and that is all in the mode of ignorance. Okay. Datavyamiti yad danam. Now we go into danam, the charity. Diyate anupakkarine deshe kale cha patre cha tad danam satvikam smritam. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, ma'am. There was some issue. That gift which is given out of duty at the proper time and place to a worthy person and without expectation of return is considered to be charity in the mode of goodness.
So, if you see in ISKCON, mainly they begin They may be big CEOs, they may be, highly qualified, whatever. It begins like you would have seen Prabhu's distributing, I've heard that Namnishtadas Prabhu also distributed. The books that we distribute, Bhagavad Gita books that we distribute is what is shown. So we don't have to be, we can be so humble. So this is all like, the gift which is given out of duty, and mainly at the proper time and the place. So there is no expectation in return also. That is in the mode of goodness. I was told, some those in Mumbai and all I've seen, I've also heard in trains, people get up and they say, we don't need. Okay, I will get it. So you can start assessing, is he in the mode of goodness, mode of ignorance, or mode of passion? So one will say, okay, I'll buy and give it to somebody. I mean, that's show off, like mode of. One will say, I really don't need, don't disturb me, just go away. So the other person, okay, I will certainly get to know and I will get it. So there are three types of people you can assess by giving this charity also. But this charity needs to be given in proper time and place. That's very, very important.
Ma'am.
Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Ma'am, the person who is giving this or distributing this, like from his side, the intention is that he has to just, prachar, it's the prachar that he's doing for this, for the dharma. But his intention is pure, right? But the person who is not taking, or the person who wants to take for a different intention, it's not his mistake, right? The person who is distributing.
No, that's not his mistake. So that's why I said we can assess whether they are in the mode of goodness. I mean, it is just for knowing. But if somebody is not taking, it is not a mistake on the person who is giving at all, because he is just offering it. Okay. So when it comes to dana, that the place where you are giving, the persons that you are giving, and so when when they're coming back, what I am saying, this train thing is like, when they're coming back from the office with every day's, that routine schedule, what they have in their mind, we don't know. They may be distressed, they may be desiring something, they may be so there could be different types of people. So you are trying to give it, and those who take it is fine, but while giving, that intention is very pure. There is nothing wrong in this.
Like, what is that correct place and correct time? Like, what is described?
That is the assessment. That is the free will. That is the decision that you need to take. Okay, so going and giving it in the temple, or going it and giving it in the market, or going and giving it in a mall, all that needs to be decided by yourself. Why? Because you have to assess what type of people will be coming there, and what is it that they may be wanting. Most of the temples, I have seen that, we have ISKCON devotees standing there and distributing, offering, and even on the roads, even in the marketplace. So it depends on you to decide. It depends on you, which is the place where, so that, that there is no, it, 50% may not take. Okay. Maybe just 10% may agree. I'm just giving one example for this Bhagavad Gita book, but it could be any other thing also for the charity. Those who have already, if you still go and give, they may still get it for Bhagavad Gita for distribution. There's nothing wrong, but that decision is yours. Okay. So I'll come back to this charity giving, because it's still going on. Like Bali Maharaja giving the charity to Vamana Deva. Shukacharya is saying, like, please don't give, don't do this, don't do this. The 3 steps that Vamana is asking. Bali Chakravarti is Prahlad Maharaja's grandson only, but he's being a very great devotee. He has been giving charity. Now, Indra Loka, everybody there itself, they find, when Asura is becoming very powerful, the Devas get, so Asura as one individual may be very good, but around him, they were not in the dharma part. So Vamana Avatara had to take place. Vamana, Srimad Narayana came down as a Vamana, as a small, that brahmachari who asked only for 3 steps when this thing is going on. Shukacharya behind Bali Maharaja, you're seeing, like, don't give, because they give it in the form of water. So he goes inside and sits, then Krishna knows about it, and then Vamana tries to put a darba grass inside, and that's how Shuka loses one of the eye. So he's saying, don't give, but then Bali Maharaja says, I will be the happiest person to give, even if it is Narayana, even if it is who has descended as Mahavishnu, I don't mind, I will give, because I am in the giving side. So one step, and third step, he offers his own head. This is the charity, one example of a mode of goodness. Okay, so Patala Loka, that's why he doesn't get hurt, but then it has been, he has already when Narasimha Prabhu came, he said, Prahlad Maharaj, nobody in your Vansha will be killed. So it is that lineage. So again here, how this charity is given, so charity given out of duty without expecting. Nanda Maharaj is so happy, okay, and he's giving it at the proper time. Krishna is born, so, and he knows this is again mode of goodness without any expectations. He's happy, so he's giving this charity to all the villages there. This one, yattu pratyupakarartham phalamudhishya va punah diyate cha pariklishtam taddanam rajasamsmritam.
But charity performed with the expectation of some return, or with a desire for fruitful results, or in a grudging mood, is said to be charity in the mode of passion.
You will see this every day in the newspaper. Oh, floods! Our political leaders are there taking pictures. So such charity, we see that around. We don't have to have an explanation, and that is all in the mode of passion. This image itself is a very clear indication. Not empathize. Yes, Prabhu.
Like, ma'am, in the mode of passion, when it's like telling that we return, like we expect something, like when we give. So, ma'am, what happens is, whenever we give something, in or the other way, in the mind inside, we also expect that we'll get some blessings, or something good will happen to us, like with that blessings that they are giving. So that is also like in the mode of passion only, right?
Of course, of course. So any charity that you give, but that comes over a period of time with the experience to move on from the mode of passion to mode of goodness while giving the charity. Oh, I've given all this, so now you know what, I've done a good thing. So that is, there are two thought processes. One, you're in your mind, you're satisfied, you're content, you're happy. Okay,
Yes.
that is all. Now, the second thing is, because I have done this, I'm going to get something. That is the desire for that fruitive thing. So while you give a charity, you are feeling good, but the person who is receiving is also feeling good. Supposing those things happen, that's okay, but that nothing is in your hands. But beyond that, if you start thinking, oh, because I'm giving, I am going to get this, get this, get this. That is where, that fruitive. So your intention of giving is that you are going to achieve something. That need not be there. But to get that feeling, it will take some time. That is the devotional services. More and more you are into this, that purification will automatically take place. From the mode of ignorance, whether it is in the food, or in worship, or in sacrifice, or in charity, or in austerity, we will get trained. We will get elevated more when you are into the devotional services and the chanting which goes on simultaneously. Okay, so it doesn't happen overnight, Prabhu. But when you start asking these questions, which itself shows that we are in the right path. They're all in the right path. Don't worry. Okay, so now for such people, we cannot. That's the mode of ignorance. Help, I need money for the week. You understand? It's all mode of ignorance. Criminal court building. Where he's sitting. Okay. So, Om Tatsaditi Shri Nirdesho Brahmanas Trividha Smritaha Brahmanas Tena Vedascha Yajnascha Vihitaha Pura.
From the beginning of creation, the three syllables Om Tat Sat have been used to indicate the supreme absolute truth, Brahman. They were uttered by Brahmanas while chanting Vedic hymns and during sacrifices for the satisfaction of the
Yeah, please.
of the supreme.
So this sound, you will Hari Om Tat Sat. Any puja, anything you will hear the sound. These sages, while the Brahmanas were chanting Vedic hymns, that is the time when, in fact, this itself came, even the Gayatri Mantra came with a sound which was captured. That is how with these Vedic hymns have been written. So yesterday somebody was asking, where are the scriptures, how old it is, and how do you have, what is the evidence? So we need to find out all that. It's been coming after ages after ages by just by hearing, by listening, and by remembering. So this is the sound that they had been getting. That is clearly Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Tat is Sat. So Tat Sat, the meaning itself will clearly say that it is the absolute truth, Brahman. Sat is the reality, the truth. Okay, Tat is he who supreme. All right. So this is the Krishna who only has all this in the highest degree. He doesn't, we cannot compare. There is no comparison. There is no one. So all wealth, all strength, all beauty. Do you have anybody like that? All renunciation, all the best, the highest of knowledge. So that is Om Tat Sat here. Yes.
Ma'am, like it means the person who has made everything, of course, he's going to be the richest of everything because he has made everything. I think
yes,
that's the way.
He's made everything, and he's the ultimate in that. Those six, of the highest degree, which cannot be compared with. There is nobody whom you can compare. Maybe like the highest in the beauty could be one, the highest, but all six of them in the highest. As you say beautifully, that it has all been created by him. So he has to be in that maximum. Om Tatsaditi Nirdesho Brahmanastrividam Smrita Brahmanastena Vedascha Yajnascha Vihitaha Pura. So this is what we read, that symbolic representation. Tasmat Om Ityudahritya Yajnyadanatapakriya Pravartante Vidhanoktaha Satatam Brahmavadinam.
Thus, the transcendentalist undertake sacrifices, charities, and penances, beginning always with Om to attain the supreme.
So Om sound is so powerful. When you take that breathing in, breathing out, and all that with this sound, you will find the vibrations in your body. So every mantra, every chanting begins with Om. And this sound they attain from the cosmic energy. That is how they captured this sound. NASA was not there, okay? I mean, there is, oh my God, there's a lot of arguments which goes on. So anyhow, Tadityanabhisandhaya Palam Yajnyattapakriyaha Dana Kriyascha Vividhaha Kriyante Moksha Kankshubhihi.
One should perform sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word Tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from the material entanglement. Tat Tvam Asi. Chandogya Upanishad that describes detached work for the sake of liberation. These activities are done with disregard for material results.
So we have heard, it is all given in all the Upanishad, then Srimad Bhagavatam, any shloka you take anywhere. So one should perform the sacrifice, penance, charity with the word Tat. So that Tat Twamasi, Tat Twamasi, you have heard this. Tvam Asi, you are the one. Tat is you. Who is the you? The Supreme Lord. Okay. So Sadbhave sadhubhave cha sadvityetat prayujyate prashaste karmani tata Chabdha partha yujyate yagne tapasidane cha sthis saditi chodyate karma chaiva tadhartiyam sadityeva vidhiyate.
The absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice, and it is indicated by the word Sat. These works of sacrifice, of penance, and of charity, true to the absolute nature, are performed to please the Supreme Person, Son of Partha. Sad Sat eva Saumya. Chandogya Upanishad. Sat means eternal. Activities done for the service of the Lord reveal the true spiritual nature. In such activity, the performer of actions becomes eternal. The activities are aimed at the eternal, and the benefits of the activities are eternal.
Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapastaptam kritam cha ye asadityote yuchyate partha na cha tatpretya noiha.
But sacrifices, austerities, and charities performed without faith in the Supreme are non permanent, O son of Partha. Regardless of whatever rites are performed, they are called asat and are useless both in this life and the next.
So we were seeing, in all the modes, like mode of goodness and mode of passion, mode of ignorance, this sacrifices, austerities, and charities. And these three needs to be always performed by anybody and everybody. But according to the Vedic scriptures that's been given. But it is all like, you need to leave it to him without any fruitive action. So while you're here, you're performing all these rites for his happiness. That should be our mind. Even the rites and rituals which are done after those death rites and everything that the son does for the father, even that they ask, oh, when we do the Shraddha, when we do this, is it for the Pitru or for? It is ultimately the Supreme Lord is going to be happy that you are performing such things, that you are doing such things, and it is ultimate happiness for him. So the happiness, the knower, the enjoyer, everybody is Supreme Lord. In that case, what are you doing? These rituals, you keep doing it. These austerities, you are doing it, but without faith in Supreme are non-permanent. That is a very, very important word here. Without that, there is no use. Without that faith, just for the Dhamma. So that is asat. Asat is not a truth. So, and are useless both in this life and in the next. We don't want the next life, of course. Yes. Om Tat Sat is the eternal sound of Pranava mantra. Yes, read, Mataji.
Om Tat Sat is the eternal sound Pranava. Om Tat Sat represents the unmanifest and absolute reality. By the word reality, here it means total existence. Lord said Om Tat Sat is actually a threefold name of the Supreme Soul with which the start of the universe, the Brahman, Vedas, and Yajnas were made. Krishna is the enjoyer, proprietor, and a well-wisher.
So he's a well-wisher, he's an enjoyer, he's a proprietor. That is what we need to understand. And, beyond that, never ever it is said that you don't perform anything. Keep performing, but it is all for his happiness. That one thing we need to remember. So it is like, the divisions is what we have seen. The classifications is what we have seen, that in food, in the mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance, charity, worship, or sacrifices, austerities, everything we have seen in the three forms. And finally, it is all Om Tat Sat. It is all for him, for his happiness. When we start doing these, even, ahara niyamam, like what we eat, even if that goes on with that, that means you are offering and then eating, then it is for him, for his happiness. You will understand that devotional services or getting into the Godhead or going back to our own homes is very, very easy. That is why this classification is given. Now, I will stop here. I will move on to the questions that was there. I need to answer. Ritesh Prabhu, can you unmute and ask? If it is not, let me read what was written in the chat. Oh, it went off, no? So I don't have this chat message, anything here.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
My question is that why God created us? If moksha is the ultimate goal, then why there is birth, rebirth, and all this? Because ultimate goal is moksha, so why God created us, created planet? Why God created creatures, human beings?
Very good question. Very good question. We are all eternal. We are all anadhi. There is no adhi. There is no end. Now, when the soul is anadhikala, and when we began, we don't know. Nobody knows. So the karmas that we have been, the creation is done. Okay. Now, when the creation is done, we fall into some of the activities because it's the mode of nature. It is the eternal. It is the nature. It is the material nature which is all created. Now, interacting with this material nature, with the nature of those three modes which we have, which is Ritesh Prabhu, I don't know whether you did attend, but then you can see those recordings also. Those 24 elements, those 20 elements, which is all created, we all have been interacting and entangling into those material nature. When that is done, somewhere or other, we do a lot of karmas which needs to be nullified. Where what we start doing is, somewhere we start doing the nullification of papa and punya karmas, but we fall into. So we become fallible. Now we become fallible, again we need to raise up. So it is all sanchitta karma and prarabdha karma, which is like we have accumulated so much of karma. So that is why it's our free will, it is our desire. We are born here, thankfully we are born as human beings. That means we have done some austerities, some good karmas there in our previous birth. So right now we have to hold it to those good karmas and move on. It's these questions when I was like, in the younger stage like yours, used to have, why then create at all when we do such karmas and then ultimately we have to go back to our homes? Okay, the good example is, can we hold on to a small child in our house, not sending him to the school, not sending him to the college, not looking at the the neighborhood outside and interacting with people, or start doing earning? Can we do that? So Krishna cannot hold us in the house like that. We have to come down. We are created and we do all those activities. And while doing all those activities, where we have to restrict ourselves, what is that we have to do? We need to remember our home, our father again and again. I need to go back to my house. I need to go back to my house. It's the same thing. I'm just giving this. If you remember, I don't know whether what age you are in, but then, if we remember, your father would have kept you inside only in the house. Oh, please drink this, eat this, and be here. What can happen? Nothing can happen. You don't get any exposure. You don't go out and you don't know how this food comes to me in my tray, in my plate. That's not possible. So that creation has been there from the beginning. That's why I said souls and super souls are all eternal, anadi kalam. So when it is being coming, that material nature, we get entangled. And we keep doing the activities which may not be prescribed, which may be good, which may not be good, which is not to be done. So there are certain things which is prohibited. Even that we tend to do. Then accordingly, we need to reap the fruit for that. So that's why this birth and death again and again and again. I don't know, Ritesh Prabhu, have I answered your question?
Yeah, ma'am, I got it.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Any other question? If
Ma'am,
you
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, ma'am, firstly, in the fourth shloka, it is written that those in the mode of passion worship the demons. Now, who are the demons who are worshipped?
So that's why I said, there are there are Bhuta Pretam, this, I don't know, Atharva Veda has got those, like, if you have to, those are all into Maya, okay? So if you want to please somebody, okay, that is the desire. So there are certain demons whom they do. It's all there written in. So that's why I said mantrik and tantrik. Have you heard about tantra vidya, mantra
Yes,
vidya?
tantric. Yeah, tantra
Yeah,
vidya. Yes.
they do all this. They do into those demons, and they call the demons. They talk, and then killing somebody, hurting somebody.
Black
I
magic.
mean, those are all. Huh?
Black
Yes,
magic.
Prabhu? Black magic, basically. So I do not know much in detail, but I've heard, and such things happen. When it is given
Yes,
in
ma'am.
our scriptures, such things happen, and but they don't realize, those who do, it comes back to them. If it comes back to them, that Kingara, you are creating one. You have seen how Durvasa created one, no? Remember? So in that Ambarish story, yes, they create through that yajna, through that tapas, and when they create something, it basically it goes back to them. It goes back to them, and they hurt very badly the person who has created also. You create a devil in this. I mean, some other nation, some leader, and that person, when he is created, the first person, like Bhasmasura, he will check on this person who created him also. We don't have to go to those scriptures, Bhasmasura and the other people, Durvasa, whom he created. We can see it now also. You create a devil, it comes back. So that is that Bhuta Preta they call, and that is all in black magic, Mantrik and Tantric. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Any other question?
Mataji,
Okay.
I
Yes,
have
Prabhu.
one question.
Please.
So, ma'am, it is said that whatever charity you do it for liberation and without any fruitive action. But if someone is doing charity without any fruitive action, but not also for liberation, so how can it be of no use? It still remains to be good deeds, right?
It is good deeds. Okay. But then keeping Krishna, I am doing this for his happiness. Okay. For example, I'm distributing T-shirts to 10 of the construction workers. I look at them and I feel so happy that they are wearing it. They immediately wear it. Okay. And if I think, you know what, I'm going to get good clothes because I gave this T-shirts, and it was like it was a charity. And then I offered food also. I'm going to think that, oh, I'm going to get all food. But if I'm thinking, I'm happy, they are content, and I'm doing it for Krishna, that is where the difference is. Okay, so that is where that liberation mode comes. My thought process has to always get connected with Krishna, saying that I'm doing it for his happiness, not for my desire. Okay, so whenever in any temple, when you give the dhanam, like we give, like after the archana, you give like 50 rupees, 100 rupees in the plate to the priest. Na mama, the sloka itself says it is na mama, it is na mama. It's not mine, it's not mine. That's how they take. So when I'm giving, Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu, Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu, it's not mine, it is Krishna is giving. So that thought process we need to have. Somewhere that false ego, when I think, I bought these T-shirts for these construction workers and I gave them all these food, there that false ego will set in. So it is for our purification. Krishna has been saying that it is for the liberation. It is for the liberation of the soul. It is to make him happy. That is what we all need to understand. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Did you get
Yes,
it?
Mataji.
That is the only cause. Yes, I will stop here. Do join us tomorrow. And that's the the gist of whole thing, that 18 days, and then continue the journey with us. Be with us for level 2 also. Register yourself. I'm sure you'll be getting the certificate. You would have been doing the quizzes. So be with us in this journey. And I will stop here, but any question, anything, you're welcome. The group is always open. So you can just post the questions and I'm ready to answer that. Okay. So we will begin our chanting. I'm hoping that you're all chanting. You're all sitting for yourself for 5 minutes. Connect with Krishna. You will enjoy the journey. I'm sure you would have understood by now, at least the food that you have to eat. Here it is Thanksgiving time. So, it's a holiday season for this week. But I told all my students yesterday, please show all your gratitude, your, kindness, happiness, but don't kill the animals. I told them, don't take the animals to the slaughter, which means that aharam is very, very important. I do push my thought process wherever I have to say, which is maybe fruitless, which may be of no use, because Thanksgiving, they begin with this eating of, all that. But my saying doesn't, it may impact you, it may not impact, but I do say. Okay, so with this, I will stop and we'll do the chanting and we will move on. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasavadi Gauravakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare. Thank you, Pradesh Prabhu, Hare Krishna Rajshekhar Prabhu for good chanting.
Hare Krishna.
And Shloka, Madhav Prabhu is not here for us to be answering, but still, I didn't leave the opportunity to answer him also. Prabhu, Saloni Mataji, Ishita Mataji, everybody, Hare Krishna, Srijita, everyone, thank you, Hare Krishna. We'll see tomorrow.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you.